Today we're making budget-friendly spring and summer DIYs. Keep watching. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. Our first project is going to be a decorative box. I'm going to start off with some of these little miniature pots. 4 of them. A smooth paintbrush and a chippy brush, of course. Here are the measurements. And then some Mod Podge for paper. And some chalk paint in plaster. Look at this beautiful napkin that we got on the Crafty Cruise Getaway. Somebody donated these, and I'll be using this today on this beautiful box. This is just a thrifted box that I've had forever. Here are the measurements in case you want to do one of these for yourself. I'm going to start by trying to sand off this word and to definitely give this box a nice smooth finish. Y'all, today's video is very special. It is going to be done with a couple of my friends and we have giveaways coming, so I'll give you full information on that in just a little bit. Alright, so after we sand, we need to wipe away all the grit and the dust. Right, I'm going to grab that beautiful chalk paint. You can really use any color white you want, but the idea is to use a light color so that all the details will pop on the napkin. All right, I am going to start by just lightly putting on some of this paint. I'm going to gradually build this up as I work my way around the box and back to the front. It's a lot easier to add more than to take it off, right? Okay, so we're going to go all the way around and do it just like this. You got it? Simple. We can do this. No need to do the bottom, of course, though. Now, on the sides, I like to have a little more paint on my edges than I do in the center. So you'll see me kind of go a little bit heavier on the edges. But you don't have to do it that way. You can certainly make it your own. You also do not have to do the bottom, but I went ahead and done it just, just for giggles, I guess. If you want a completed project, you can do it. I'm going to use the same technique on those little pots that I have. And we're going to use these pots for feet. You can also use like a little inexpensive chest kit, stuff like that for legs on little boxes too. I'm going to use some wood glue to attach these little feet to the box. A little bit of wood glue here and there. Mine is getting really sticky. Look at that. Looks like taffy or bubble gum. What a mess. And then I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue in the open areas. So we get a quick fix and we get a permanent fix. That's why we do the 2 different types. But if you have the time to wait, you can just use your wood glue and just give it time to sit up. Just read the instructions on the bottle. This is simple, but it is messy. I've had this bottle forever. The spout's all clogged up. That's why I'm using a stick, but you certainly don't have to do it this way. I just keep everything, y'all. I really do. I keep it until I just can't keep it anymore. So we're going to add the next one down. And now y'all know exactly what to do. Continue around until you have all of those little feet on the box. And this box did have the little felt circles on the corners. That's what you're looking at, the little felt circles. Okay, now we have feet on the box. Nice. You could also do it upside down. I'm just going to use a weeding tool here to separate the plies on this napkin. This napkin has 3 plies. We want to be all the way down to 1 ply, but you see how sheer this is? If you put that down on top of the wood, it would really just kind of blend into the background, but I want mine to pop, so the lighter color is going to help that happen. I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and really I wanted just to use matte Mod Podge, so that's why I'm using the paper Mod Podge, but they really, I think, work the same way. I'm going to look and see how I would like to use this napkin, and I like the idea of it wrapping around the corner, so I'll use my brayer and flatten this on out. You need to be very gentle when you use napkins, and when you use tissue paper, yes, you also can use tissues that you wrap your gifts with, but you have to be very gentle. I am very, very lightly going across there, just barely laying any pressure on, because too much pressure and too much glue will cause your paper to tear. We don't want that. So I'm really trying to stretch out the amount of glue that I'm using to make it as thin as possible. I just make it thin and even. If you have clumps in there and it's not even, it's also going to cause wrinkling, tunneling, and bubbles, and you don't want that either. So just be cautious, because the results from decoupaging things like this can really be beautiful. And I hope you like what I do with this box. It's a little bit different than the next two projects, but you'll see. It's all inspired by nature. I love the beautiful flowers, and I think this piece in particular is perfect for springtime. Very, very gently going across there. Now I have no bubbles. There's a little bit of wrinkling in the end, which is fine with me, because if you are new to my channel, I love doing rustic and aged look. I love that. And it's so forgiving, because, you know, you can blame it on, oh, well, that's rustic. That's how I intended for it to be. Okay, now I've just folded over my edges, but you can cut that off because I do paint over the top of them. Totally up to you. And this is the same white paint that we used on the sides and the bottom. Drop the brush, very important step. It's not going to get the same results if you don't drop it. Okay, now I'm going to take that Mod Podge and go right down over my edges, just to make sure that everything is strongly in place, and that those areas, if they were to get bumped on anything, they have a little more strength. Beefing it up. And then I'll take my other piece, or another piece, we have quite a bit on the napkin, and I will find my next position. I like the idea of having it kind of across from it on the box. Y'all, these napkins are beautiful. If you're watching this video and you were on the Crafty Cruise getaway with us, thank you so much for bringing these. My friends who are doing this video will be using napkins as well. Yep, they will too. And by the way, this video is being shown on a Sunday for the collaboration, and I will not be having a video Monday. I will be back Thursday, for those of you who have been following me. Okay, so I'm going to take a sander and very lightly rake away the edges, just very lightly raking it across there. And I know that you've probably seen this, but it makes it easier. You can cut this off with scissors if you want, though. This is completely to your taste. Make it your own. That's what this channel is all about. So now I'm just going back over the edges, like I said before, just to give it a little more security. I'm going to sand off the edge over here. And how pretty is this against that white? Look how beautiful that is. I am loving this already. The sad thing is I didn't have enough of this napkin to do the entire box, but I'm going to show you what you can do if that happens to you. If you use a smaller box, you won't have to worry about that. Or if you cut your sections smaller, you can really stretch it. This is totally up to you, but I'm going to make it work. So thin Mod Podge, very thin. I am taking the extra time to explain the Mod Podging because I've had people ask me about it before, and I want to be sure that you understand and you don't feel intimidated by the method. You can, like I said, really make some gorgeous stuff. I mean, just look at this napkin. This round, lacy looking, doily, delicate looking napkin. Perfect. Wait till you see what I use it for. All right, gonna go on the edges again. It's best if you wait, especially if you're new, till this is dry, but you can do it when it's damp if you feel comfortable. Just don't scoot anything around and don't touch the wet parts. All right, locking in those edges, same as before, just giving that a little bit of extra strength on the edges and on the bottom. Now for the side that doesn't have any napkin on it, because we ran out, I'm going to tear just a piece of crafting paper. This came in a pack that I got from Temu, and I'm just going to tear around the edge and make it rough looking and kind of old. Now you're going to see me use a different piece of paper. No worries, No worries. I'm going to switch it up. I decided on something else. Same idea though. It's the same pack. Totally fine. And I'm just going to go over that. A little bit thicker of Mod Podge on this, and then put it down and then add another layer of Mod Podge on top, because this is a piece of cardstock paper and it can handle a little more glue. It's going to take a little more to seal it down. Once your piece is dry and all of your little napkins are dry, you can go back over it with some Mod Podge. This is why I like the matte, because it gives a good flat finish and secure everything. You can then dry it naturally, let it dry overnight if you would like, or you can use some type of a blow dryer or heating tool to dry yours. Now I'm using mine to store some old lace. This is old trim that was given to me by a friend, and I really love to use it. I grab for my trims often when I'm doing antique or vintage decor, so it's conveniently in place now and displayed beautifully. So this video is part of the 5th Sunday Crafting with Friends. We are all of us, Kendra and crafting cousins, so that's Trish and Kay. We are all using the idea of similar projects or similar items to make different projects to see how everything turns out. Yeah, it is going to be totally cool. You have to go watch their videos after you watch mine. We're using scallop napkins, a spindle kit, and wood rounds with burlap. So be sure you watch everybody. Okay, the next is a plant stand. This is a spindle kit. I have parts of a spindle kit that Kendra brought on the Crafty Cruise getaway. So I've got the spindle and the little drawer pull from her. Also, this little wreath came from her. It also came with a little hook, but I won't be using mine. Now, my part is going to be these little curtain rounds, these pots. These are little terracotta pots. And this is a candle topper. Her kits actually came with bottoms, but mine did not have one, so I am going to use this. I saved my candle tops, y'all, especially the wood ones. You can use them for so many things. Now, you want to make sure that when you drill, you have a drill bit that is bigger than the size of the peg that you have. I found my center. I'm just going to drill into here to make a hole so that we can attach the bottom to the spindle. See the description box for more information in 2025. And check it and make sure it's going to work before we worry about gluing anything down or painting anything. And this is going to be perfect. So I'm just going to take the eraser and take the marks off of it. I'm going to clean up the back, remove the adhesive and any of the sticker that is remaining on here. Get it all off. You don't want anything getting in between your stain that we're making and the wood. So I'm going to add a little paint. I'm going to add some water, make a very thin mixture, and grab a sponge brush. I do not like sponge brushes, y'all. I could have done this with a baby wipe or a soft cloth. Hindsight, right? So we did the bottom. We're going to let that dry. And now I'm going to go over the entire spindle, making sure that I get in all of the little dips and divots and round areas. Just spraying a little water on the brush to thin it a little more. It makes it a little bit easier to move around. I'm not using antiquing wax because I want you to see that it's just a little bit of brown paint and water. You can make your own stain, right? Now I'm going to be sure that both pieces are dry. And we are going to attach them. I'm using a little piece of wire to put some of that wood glue down in that hole, which is our base. I did it on the back side. You can do it either way. I'm going to add some right to the peg and some on the bottom. Try not to make too big of a mess because you don't want it to squish out and make a mess on your stand. You want any adhesive to be hidden under there. But you can quickly wipe it away if you do make a mess. Same here. I'm going to add some to that peg. And then I'm going to add some to the drawer pull or cabinet pull. Going to slide that on there. Great. It works great. All right, now this is how I'm going to make mine my own. I'm going to use these rings here and attach them to the spindle. So I'm getting an idea of where I want my position to be. I know I don't want them at the same level. I want them to be staggered. And because the spindle has all these little concave areas, makes a perfect place to just kind of sit one of these rings right down in it, because I wanted to make like a miniature garden kind of situation. You'll see. I don't even really know what to name this. You tell me what you would name this, what you would actually call this, because it's like a plant stand. It's very pretty though. I'm just using some wire, which I have wrapped around to give it a secure hold. And now I'm taking that same floral wire, I'm wrapping it around the concave area where I have placed it, and I'm going to wrap it, the wire around itself, around the ring, and back around that piece. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. I am working on getting to 100,000 subscribers by October 31st. I would love you to be part of my channel family. If you're enjoying this video so far, how about giving me a thumbs up? I work hard on my videos to give you what you need to feel inspired. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it around. There's really no rhyme or reason to how I'm wrapping it. I just want to be sure that it is securing the ring to the spindle. Then I'm going to cut my excess off. And since I had so much left from that one, and I hate to waste, I'm just going to cut the rest of my wires in half and work with half of them. I don't want these to be glued in place or screwed in place, because until I get close to the end of the projects, I'm not exactly sure how I want to position the rings. So using the wire, I am going to be able to slide these back and forth around that spindle. Okay, next one, I'm working my way up. I know you can't see, but I couldn't lay this down and do it. It's just too difficult. But the idea is wrapping it around itself, twisting it, wrapping it around the back. The idea is to really strengthen the sections between the spindle and the ring, okay? It's holding it on there where it's not going to break away. The fact that it's leaning, not an issue yet, okay? I'm going to do something with that. Now that I know that it is secured where it should be, I can lock it into place, essentially, with using the jute. Same process here. I'm just going to wrap it back and forth. This is going to give us, first of all, it's going to look better. It's going to give it more of that rustic woodland look that I love so much. It's going to secure these pieces together a little bit more as well. Wrapping it back and forth, really strengthening the connection between the ring and the spindle. You can wrap it around the back as well. Tie it a few times. I don't want to get it too bulky, but you know, I want it to really stay in place. But because we didn't use any glue, we're going to be able to move those rings back and forth, and they'll stay in their position. Y'all, this is one of those projects I dreamed about. I've told y'all before, sometimes I dream about projects, and I dreamed about it. I already knew what projects I wanted to do right after we decided to do the collaboration. So I already knew what I wanted to do. It was perfect. It was just perfect. I love how things come together like that. Do y'all dream about crafting? Do you? And do you ever go with those ideas? Do you ever daydream about stuff? It's kind of weird. It's a good weird though, right? It's a really good weird. It's that divine intervention, right? Okay, same thing here, just really securing it. And this will keep it from being quite as floppy as it was, but we're not going to be putting a lot of weight in these rings at any rate. So that's not a big issue. It's not like we're putting rocks and big pots of dirt in here. Although this on a larger scale would be absolutely beautiful, I would definitely use screws to hold everything in place. Okay, you see, we can move the rings still, but they're in place. The only thing I'm using this glue for is to keep my ties from unraveling, y'all. That's it. You can still move everything. I'm just putting it right on the knots. Okay, I'm going to grab some moss. You know I love me some moss. And I'm going to tuck it down in each one of those pots. Put the pots back in there. I like the position. And then I'm going to grab my little scrap bucket. Grab out some baby's breath and some daisies. I'm going to get my clippers and cut things down so that they fit in the pots. I don't want anything to be bumping into each other, but I do want to kind of mimic what's going on in each pot to make it look similar, like it belongs together. So I do move some things around. I'm going to move the daisies off of there and just use the baby's breath and the greenery. Make it your own though. put whatever you want in those little pots. You could even do little mushrooms if you wanted to. But it's spring. I wanted to make it light and airy. Okay, y'all. So then I decided I want to go ahead and add the wreath on here. So I'm going to cut through the middle of it. If you want to use the wreath on yours and you do something like this, put it on before you glue your pieces together. This was an afterthought. You know, I thought, oh, I could put that on the bottom and then I could design around the wreath so I still include it in the project. So I just cut it and I'm going to glue it back together, and using the little clamp from Dollar Tree, I'm going to hold that in place until it is dry. Okay, now, since I'm going to be working on the bottom and I don't want the pots to fall out, I'm just going to take them out. I know what I want, so we can put them back later. And I'm going to add some glue to hold the wreath down to the wood part, so nothing's flopping around. I'm going to flood the section between the spindle and the wreath with some glue and add in some moss. So if you had a big pole in your yard, imagine this on a full-size scale, and you had a big pole in your yard with some hanging pots, you could still have a gorgeous little garden area right underneath, right? So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to mimic here. This is like a miniature, which I love to do. I mean, who doesn't? They're so sweet. Aren't little things just the cutest? Okay, so then I'm just going to clip my pieces apart. I'm going to use some of the same type of stuff we used in the pots, but I'm going to grab the greenery and I'm going to add some of that. And these came with the little daisy pieces I have over there. And I'm just going to start making an arrangement on the bottom. So maybe what's on the bottom is what's already grown up, and there are seedlings in the pots on the top, maybe. Who knows? We make our little stories, don't we? We make our stories. I cannot wait to see what the others made with their spindles. I'm very excited at the potential of all of us doing different things with the same, basically the same pieces. What do you think about mine? Y'all need to stay tuned to the end of this video because you're going to get all the details on the giveaway, and if you want a chance to win, you're going to need all that information. I love daisies. Love in white and yellow this year for spring and summer. Lots of bee decor too. I'm really into that. The next project is going to be a butterfly round. So I'm going to use some of this beautiful orange. I'm also going to use some gold and burlap and some butterflies. And a round, of course. You can use any round you want. This is a 12-inch round, but you can use the ones that you get at Dollar Tree that are like paper. Mine is more of like a wood or MDF. It's a little bit thicker, but you'll get the same look. So I'm going to start by taking off the string hanger. And these butterflies, beautiful butterflies, came in a huge pack from Dollar Tree. I am going to, of course, take the new off of this by going around the edge. The edges, when they are cut, is white. So it's just like an overlay on white paper. And it really makes a difference when you hit all these little details this way. So I'm just going to go over and kind of age that. And like I said, take the new away, make it look a little more aged all the way around. You can get these butterflies in a variety of colors. We were challenged in this video. Each of the 3 channels and the 4 ladies were challenged to use burlap, a spindle kit, a wood round, and the beautiful napkins. So that's what you're going to see all of us use in this video. I'm also going to flip this over and I'm going to do the back because we are going to be bending these and you will be able to see a little bit of the back. And I don't want white to be shining out from under there. I'm also going to go over this with a little bit of each one of these with a little bit of that antique wax. It doesn't take a lot. And then go over the top of it, right around the edges and all over that gold with a little kind of like a dabbing motion. If you don't have these little finger dauber things, you can just use like a little sponge brush for this. It will work out probably just the same. It's just going to help it look a little more realistic, I guess. I mean, it's a paper butterfly. There's only so much you can do, but you can see the difference from the left to right, and I like the way that looks. I keep going all the way around, and when you're doing this with the butterfly, be sure that you let it dry in between layers, okay? I decided to use the black side of mine, but if you don't have a black side, grab some black chalk paint and you'll get the same kind of look. I think the butterflies are going to work great. So this is where the burlap comes in. This is burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and this is burlap ribbon from Hobby Lobby. This is some satin ribbon that I thrifted, and it is black. I decided to add that in there. That's going to look really pretty with those butterflies. And then I decided to add a little bit of gold, since we have some gold in the butterflies also. Now this project I'm making for, it's kind of like spring and summer, but actually if you like this kind of thing, you could have it in your house all year long if you were a monarch lover or a butterfly lover. Making very simple bows here for y'all. Very simple. You can see what I did here. The ribbons are all wired except for the black. And of course this little orange that I'm using to go around the center. I am tying this in the front instead of in the back because I'm going to use the same piece of ribbon to layer bows going upward right on top. This is going to have a nice full bow, but at any point that you're making your own bow, you decide that's enough and you want to stop, you can do that. All right. Then I'm going to take the orange, same technique. You can see what I'm doing here. And then in order to, if you want your loops to be about the same size, you can just lay it on top of the other one and see if you like the size. If you don't, then you can, if you don't like doing it that way, just measure it if that's what you like to do. Then I'm going to just tie the orange right on top. I like the size there. You can wait to the end to trim off the ends, or you can go ahead and do it as you're going along. Leave a little more than you need so you can trim away once you get it on your round. Then we're going to do the gold. Simple, you can see. We'll add that piece on, and then we will top it off with the beautiful black satin ribbon. If you have wider ribbons, you're going to want to use those on the bottom, and the thinner ribbons more toward the top. Because if you use the thinner ribbons on the bottom, they kind of get lost, right? They kind of get lost. And if you're using a ribbon that doesn't have wire, you put it on top of the wired ribbons, it gives that unwired ribbon a little more body and a little more of an opportunity to shine. Don't discount the runts, right? All right, so we're going to tie this, and we're going to flip it over and tie it on the back. Speaking of runts, not that any of us are runts, Trish, Kay, Kendra, or myself, but we're all hovering around the 5-foot mark, in case anybody is wondering. Yeah, we're little women. We're little women. All right, then I can take it to the back, tie it in a knot, and we're going to leave the length on there because that's what we're going to use to attach it down to the beautiful round. And then, of course, fluff the bows in any direction you like. I always like to kind of switch it up, put some to the top, some to the bottom. I don't have to have necessarily all of them going in the same colorway and direction. Now we can attach these down. Now we're going to need to bend these just to give them some movement. You can glue yours flat if you would like, but the reason we didn't color the center with that wax is because the wax doesn't stick well to the glue. So I left that section white. Now I'm just going to use the handle of my mini spatula, and I'm going to put it right across the body of the butterfly and fold the wings up. This is going to leave a flat section underneath so that we have an area to glue it down. We'll do it on each of the butterflies. And then you can move those wings however you like. If you want your butterfly to look like he's standing up, you can put 2 of those back to back. I've done that in other projects, and that way you get the same color on both sides. Just a little tip for you. We can replace the hanger. I put mine in the garbage, so I had to make another one. It was too far gone. It was too far gone. And you're just going to tie a couple of knots on each side. I wanted mine tied to the front. And then I'm going to take those ribbons here and go around that string, the hanger string. If it bothers you that there's something different on the back of your, perhaps you use a round from Dollar Tree that already has a design on it, you just go ahead and paint that black too, right? Now I added a dot of hot glue to keep it from falling forward and put a clamp on it. And now I can really see where I want my ribbons to lay, how I want them to look on the plaque or on the round. Having that wire helps them hold their form, and I really enjoy a good quality ribbon. And believe it or not, the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon has been very good for me. I've used it for years. Now I've got this beautiful piece. I'm going to balance it, my large bow on the side, and then I'll put the smaller bows this way. And you can have them, like I said, you can bend them up more or you can lay them flat. This just gives more dimension, and I like the idea of having an overlap on the side slightly. It almost looks like they were flying around and just landed right down on there. Maybe they thought that bow was a beautiful flower. Who knows? Oh, I hope you like this one too. So we have a variety of nature-inspired projects today. I love this. Don't go away yet. I've got the details at the end of this video, so don't go away yet. You need to go over and you need to watch everybody else's videos and give them some love and support. I'm telling you, these are wonderful women and they are a blessing to be in my life. And I know that you're going to enjoy them as well. See you soon.
Hey crafty friends, get ready for a chance to win. We're giving away 2 craft kits packed with crafty goodies. For each winner, we will have a napkin and tissue collection perfect for decoupage, a spindle kit including a chippy brush, and a personalized wood round tag cut to order. To enter, simply watch all 3 videos on this playlist and comment on your favorite project in each one. It's that easy. Winners will be announced Sunday, April 7th on our community tabs and in the comment section of each video. So show some love and don't miss out on this opportunity to win.